Hello, everyone, and good probably afternoon, but anywhere in the world where you are, thanks for joining us. In this Tech Insiders about data and AI, we'll learn a lot about what's going on and what's going to happen within this domain. So before we get into it, a quick overview of what will happen now. So I'm introducing the talk and talking about why this kind of talk exists and what is the overview and what are we looking into. Then we'll move into a panel discussion about the future of data and talent. Then we'll see a deep dive tech into how these technologies are combined for something very cool. Then we'll have some space for some questions, some final thoughts. But be sure to sign up on the link to the mentoring sessions from our data and AI team that two lucky winners will have announced tomorrow, because it's a great opportunity to foster your professional growth and understand how things work from the inside. Now, why are we talking about data and AI? Because it's everywhere. And we know that data is everywhere, and it's been everywhere for a while. And now AI is everywhere. And it used to be that data was just the way to build a, well, not just, but data was the core principle to build AI. And now AI is the way we're creating data, analyzing data, consuming data. So there's a lot of things changing there. And for instance, on something that's as core as BI dashboards, now they've been augmented with predictive models, anomaly detection, natural language to search for explanations, search for figures, understand what's going on. But it's not only just about how you're using AI to analyze the data. It's also creating the data pipelines that you use to feed into those dashboards. It's about cleaning the data so that you can put them into production. It's about suggesting queries, even building full apps for some people. I mentioned vibe coding in some promo. Yeah, for some people, it's just around chatting with ChatGPT or something like that, and it's done. But there's much more to that. I mean, yes, absolutely, you can use these tools to build your SQL or language to SQL, to browse through internet, to do deep research. That means that the way we work and the way technology works is getting transformed. Now, AI enhanced coding is real and it's growing. You'll know that vibe coding is mentioned. Take that as a corner case, but the way that gets incorporated into the craft, that's very important. Now, whether you're using a GitHub Copilot client, either a Cloud Code or something else, or just autocomplete, that changes the way you interact with a lot of how the systems operate. And even on more analytical parts like detecting the kind of doing forecasts, detecting uncertainties or measuring the uncertainties, you can use AutoML platforms within the Google Vertex, within Azure, within AWS, and any other providers. And that means that while coding, while building these models, while enabling them, is becoming faster. That higher level thinking around how the system is designed, how you know if it's working, how you know if it makes sense in the business context, if it's helping someone, if there's a smell, that becomes more critical. And not a lot of attention is necessarily paid to that. So the skill of prompting is definitely going to be very important, but it's not just that. It's how we interact with tools that make decisions, that build things on their own, and what the companies and what the craft demands on us. So I mentioned analytics is not just dashboards anymore. So you could create your personalized visualization and reports in natural language. You can ask it to summarize KPIs. You can flag risk automatically. It will also change how people consume those reports, that information. Some might consume that through a chatbot. Some might be a voice query, like asking why my sales were down last month or something like that, and getting the response in English. Some will try to combine and create their own dashboards and try to build reports that matter to the very specific use case, and then how to adapt that, how to extend that, how to interpret that, and understand how the different pieces connect. Now, there's an open question on how this change in how analytics is consumed is going to pan out, in the sense that the kind of infrastructure that we need, the kind of data structures, data warehouses, the software that we interact with, everything will change. And there will be challenges around governance, around maintaining quality, maintaining consistency, making sure that those artifacts are produced well. But that's on the technical side only. There's also a lot of open questions on the side of the talent and the challenges and opportunities around that. Because if developers are being faster and more capable at coding these things, then these skills around the reason why they do what they do are becoming important. So the skills are going to be paramount always, but the storytelling in how you deal with analytics, the ethical part of what are you analyzing and what are the implications of that, the critical thinking of how that adds value to the business or the decisions, or whether you're just blindly following the recommendation of an algorithm without really understanding the implications of that. And companies are going to need people that can actually navigate this kind of mixture between tech and talent, understand domain context, whether it's healthcare, finance, media, or anything else. There's going to be a shortage of this multilingual talent. So people that can speak data, speak analytics, speak business, speak with the product design, with the use cases, with the consumer or user, and so on. These roles or these necessities maybe didn't exist 5 years ago, and the way they're going to pan out, the way they're going to evolve, are going to change as well. We know that universities, boot camps, online courses, and everything else are trying to catch up, are always releasing materials. Some of them are really good, but the name of the game is about continuous learning and how you incorporate that within your day-to-day job. How you change the way you are exposing yourself to this different knowledge, incorporating that, validating that, creating your own criteria and judgment. All of that is going to be super important. Now, there are going to be also specific applications that might be very cool, like we've been hearing for years about the capacity of flagging anomalies in a medical imaging faster than human doctors, or being able to conduct, I don't know, mentor yourself in your financial affairs when you're not really interested into that, or how you can learn in the most effective ways about things that are really interesting to you, even though they might not be something that you just face on your day-to-day. Because, I don't know, you might like art, you might like cooking, you might like something else. And even things like applications like advanced video search, we'll see later in the day, like how can you leverage these huge kind of data stores and media stores to actually monetize them in a more effective manner. Now, I'm going to remind you about signing up for the mentoring sessions because that is going to create a lot of value. But having said that, I want to dive into our panel and looking at the future of data trends and talent in this AI-powered world. So going to the panel with Damaso, Giovanni, Laura, and Paulina, they're going to be talking about the different perspective from their different backgrounds. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But Giovanni, I'm passing up to you to lead the panel. And thank you all for joining.
Hello, everyone. So let's start. Before, I would like to remember to register to the platform because tomorrow, Globant is going to select 2 winners randomly, and they're going to be awarded with a mentorship, dedicated mentorship by our Globant experts. Now, let's start with a quick introduction. I'm Giovanni Sergi from Italy. Here with me, there is Paulina, there is Damaso, and there is Laura. But let's go directly into the topic. So, as JJ has mentioned, we are seeing an amazing transformation and a reshaping in the roles and in the industry. So, Laura, how AI and data are reshaping this industry in Europe?
Thank you, Giovanni, for the question. So let me answer your question with 2 examples I worked on in the past. So AI, as JJ already mentioned, is reshaping already healthcare. So AI supports doctors, for example, radiologists, by delivering fast and more consistent diagnoses, allowing the doctors to focus on interpreting results instead of scanning every image manually. And so AI analyzes X-rays, CT scans, and MRIs to detect anomalies like tumors or fractures. And here we can, so I work together with hospitals, but also with the medical software providers, and they are advancing in research, for example, with transformer models. And they learn to detect complex patterns in medical imaging, which can potentially lead to entirely new diagnostic methods. And another example I want to highlight is from the automotive industry. And here AI has a huge impact in alerting systems. So here, automotive manufacturers are leveraging telematics data, so from the cars themselves, from connected vehicles, obviously, to build predictive maintenance models. And these models help identify potential issues before they cause real problems. And this again can reduce downtime and improve the overall customer experience. Let's talk about an example. So if a vehicle sensor detects anomalies in the brake systems, and this could be like slight changes in brake pressure or temperature, the system can trigger early alerts, prompting service visits before parts actually fail. And these are only two examples of many others where AI reshapes industries.
And if you have to say, since you have a lot of experience in that, how do the data roles evolve around those developments, the evolution of the roles? What do we have to expect in this?
Yeah, definitely. So, for example, traditional data analysts are evolving to something we would call analytical translators. So these are professionals who bridge the gap between business needs and technical data science teams. But also new roles evolve, like AI product owners, who have become crucial on big AI projects. And they ensure, for example, that AI models, especially generative ones, truly deliver customer value rather than just technical output. And let me maybe refer again to my example of AI in healthcare. So as AI models begin to analyze MRI data, for example, traditional roles are expanding. So we have radiologists and medical technical radiology assistants, short MTRA, who need a much deeper understanding of data workflows to collaborate again with the AI systems. On the other side, we have AI researchers who specialize in annotating MRI datasets and need clinical expertise to validate model findings. And they blend technical and medical knowledge. And on the other side, there's also the regulatory and a part of things. So we need regulatory and data security experts who become more essential than ever, because they need to ensure that sensitive patient data complies with evolving healthcare regulations while AI systems are trained and deployed.
Fantastic. And what are the main skills? And especially, I would like to focus on the way Globant support the upskill and the career path.
Yeah, definitely. So at Globant, you are not a part of multiple ecosystems, not just your project team, which allows you to explore and grow skills. So, for example, you have the Globant University, and also we have a cooperation with Udemy, which is both of them are providing validated, high-quality learning resources across tech, leadership, but any kind of innovative topics, basically. On the other side, we have Open Career. Here you can proactively find new projects or technologies that align with your personal career goals and interests. And another thing I want to highlight is that you do not have like only one boss, you have always two. One is your career mentor, and here the conversation with your career mentor focuses on basically your long-term career development. And on the other side, you have an experienced leader. This is a senior team member on your project, and he or she supports your day-to-day growth. And last but not least, we have Star Me Up, which is our internal social platform. And it helps you to build your professional network, celebrate your achievements, receive real-time feedback across the company. And it's really cool and a lot of fun. So yeah, career development at Globant is not linear. It's flexible, and it's empowering you to shape your own path with strong mentorship and learning support.
I just received a star a few moments ago on Start Me Up. Fantastic. So as we see now, there are a lot of models, a lot of technology, but related to data, important topic is privacy and regulation. And we know that this is a topic everywhere, from everybody's watching, wherever is what everybody's watching now, but especially also in Europe, this is a important topic. So I would like to ask to Paulina, how data privacy regulation are influencing data careers?
Thank you for the question. I'll be sure to send you a star after this as well, everybody on this panel. So back to the question. So how is data privacy influencing our data careers? So as Laura actually gave a great example of when dealing with healthcare data or even dealing with automotive data, both those examples, you wouldn't want that type of personally identifiable information getting into the wrong hands. So as data privacy regulations, such as the General Data Protection Regulation, also known as GDPR, as that continues to evolve, there's significant influence on data careers as we're shaping the responsibilities of what those data professionals are expected to do across Europe. So these types of regulations are impacting the way we ensure data privacy and integrity and how we can build trust with customers through those data practices. So for example, one of the ways it's influencing people's careers is there's obviously an increased demand for data privacy professionals. So there's a surge in demand for people who know how to work with data, who understand the implications of data privacy and these different regulations in different jurisdictions, sometimes overlapping jurisdictions. There's also cross-border data transfer regulations in some municipalities or some jurisdictions. You can't move data across areas. Basically, we need to start protecting the data by design and by default. That's what GDPR requires of us. So data practitioners need to know how to handle personal data, such as cookies. They need to understand the effects of direct marketing or electronic communications, giving end users ability to opt out when required. There's compliance requirements around the collection, processing, and storage of data, which you must comply with. A concept I like is called data minimization. So this is basically only have the data that you need and nothing more. So understand the scope and the use of that data. I mean, it might limit it. So I know right now, everyone's really excited to put everything into the AIs. There are regulations in place and privacy practices in place to kind of limit what you can or should be allowed to put into the AIs. I know with a client I'm working with right now on a machine learning team, we have lots of ambitious designs that we want to try, and we're working closely with a compliance and legal team to understand what is appropriate use, where we draw the lines, which data needs to be anonymized or masked, for example. So that type of increased accountability where you're documenting, you're being transparent, and you're open to auditing and monitoring those usages are incredibly important in establishing a data career these days and understanding the implications of this so that ultimately, like I said, you can build trust with your customers and increase the data quality. So a lot of those are happening in interdisciplinary roles. So data careers are evolving to become a lot more interdisciplinary. I think Laura gave an example of understanding the business a lot more. So data scientists and analysts and engineers must collaborate closely, also not just with the business, with legal, with compliance, with ethical teams to make sure that all the regulatory requirements and the ethical standards of the companies are being adhered to. And there's certainly a focus on ethical AI, right? So having more transparent systems, again, having regular audits of those systems, understanding what data is allowed to go in and out of them, how are you storing it? If the data were to be breached, how would you find out about it? What would the implications be? You want to, again, minimize as much as possible and obfuscate whatever you can. So in the case of worst case scenario, is a breach, very little, if nothing, private should ever be able to leave. So fostering a culture of privacy, I think the companies are doing that a lot more these days. There's a lot more awareness in the news, especially where certain companies are not doing this. So I think it's definitely a competitive advantage for those professionals that can adhere to these types of practices and put them into reality.
Yeah, absolutely. And also building trust is an important topic, preparing the data team. So how we can prepare the data team, how Globant prepare the data team in order to build this type of trust with the customer to transparent data practice.
So I think the most important way to build trust is transparency in those data practices. Globant works with a lot of different customers for a lot of different use cases all around the world. So understanding, again, what the legal implications are, what the company's data privacy is, understanding their data governance model, but ultimately the transparency helps there to understand how that customer data can be collected, processed, and used, and providing clear privacy notices and easy to understand terms of service. Empowering customers with control, right? So giving customers tools where they can opt out or delete their data, make it easy for them to access the data, modify or understand the mechanisms for that consent management. So if you want to opt out of marketing emails, for example, that should be straightforward. And customers that are leading the way with things like multi-factor authorization, for example. I know a little bit of friction sometimes when you're trying to log into your bank is kind of annoying, but at the end of the day, everyone wants their bank to know that it was truly them who, logged in and did what they needed to do. So I think, again, communicating those protection efforts, both with the companies and being transparent about the governance and the compliance practices in place, but also finding ways to communicate that somehow with the end users and soliciting feedback for improvement from both sides.
Fantastic. So there are challenges, a lot of challenges related to the data privacy, data integrity, but I would like to ask to Damaso, what are the main problems in order to implement AI assistant agents? Everybody, this is now the new topic of the world, is disruptive as technology and the impact that arise from that type of technology. So what is the impact in order to implement this type of technology? And what are the impacts on the professional profiles that are involved in these implementations?
Yes, thank you very much, Giovanni, for your question. It's a very good question because implementing AI projects nowadays, AI assistants or agents, this faces several key challenges. Okay, to me, from my point of view, first, data quality and availability are totally critical regarding this because it's not only the AI agent or the system that you have to create, but these AI systems requires large volumes of structured and unstructured data. Okay, this must be clean, this must be representative, this must be ethically sourced, and this is very important. Okay, the data quality. That's why it's so related to data, the AI system. That this is something that nobody is aware, but you need a lot of data in order to train the systems. Okay. Second, system integration. Okay, this faces a lot of difficulties, especially when embedding AI agents, for example, into existing workflows or legacy systems. Must be integrated. This is something that you have to take into account. And third, we can talk about ethical or legal and compliance considerations because there's a lot of problems with data privacy. For example, in Europe, this is the law is very important. Algorithmic bias, for example, in order to not to create a lot of bias, okay, and transparency. This is something. This is to me the third point. And finally, ensuring scalability, reliability, and user adoption adds complexity, especially in dynamic enterprise environments. Okay, how can you face all these challenges? Is with a multidisciplinary team. Okay, essentially AI ML engineers or data scientists. There's a discussion with JJ about this. If ML engineers and data scientists are the same thing, to me they are. Okay, of course, data engineers, UX and UI designers, software engineers, project managers, domain experts. Okay, that is something that we usually forget. And maybe nowadays ethics and compliance, as I said, with the fourth point, is very important. Okay, I think this is the overall sense regarding how the main problems you can check on what the professional profiles you need in one project. You need all these profiles. Okay, all these professional profiles in order to get a successful project implemented.
Absolutely. There is a question from the audience. Nuria says, I believe it's not only about data protection. Intellectual property also plays a key role, as you were mentioning, Damaso, especially in the creation of algorithms. Now, this address might become a meaningful differentiator in staying ahead.
Well, we have to take into account that nowadays we are using LLMs that you have to use an API. Okay, it doesn't matter you are using Anthropic or you're using OpenAI, whatever, or Azure OpenAI. We have to take into account that this must be something inside the corporation, and they are usually, for example, consulting legal documents. You cannot upload this without this ensuring this legal protection. Okay, so for example, with Azure, Microsoft, or Google, you are not going to have any problem if you are storing these documents in the cloud. Okay, because it is prepared for that, but you have to be very careful with that in order to ensure what you can show with these LLMs in order to ask questions, because this cannot be in a let's say a public place, okay, that everybody or the models are going to train or are going to be trained with this data that are not public. So you have to be very careful with that.
Absolutely agree with that. Everybody's talking a lot about generative AI itself, no? But do you think that without the support of other AI disciplines such as machine learning models, computer vision, or the related technology, do you think that the impact is going to be the same? It's going to be higher? What's your opinion in that?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because nowadays, generative AI, particularly large language models, okay, LLMs, has demonstrated impressive standalone capabilities. Its true value is amplified when they are integrated with other AI disciplines, okay, such as traditional machine learning, computer vision, symbolic reasoning. This is for all people like me, like programming Lisp and so on, but this is important also, okay. And on its own, generative AI excels in language generation, summarization, translation, creative content production. However, without the support of traditional ML models, this may lack predictive accuracy and domain-specific optimization. Okay, you need traditional ML models in order to complement the LLMs. Computer vision, it cannot process or understand visual vision information. Limiting its applicability in fields like autonomous systems, medical imaging, like Laura mentioned before, or manufacturing, for example. Okay. And without it, structured decision-making systems or knowledge graphs, for example, it often lacks explainability and deterministic control. So in real-world applications like autonomous agents, industrial automation, or intelligent assistants, a multimodal and hybrid AI approach is typically required. Okay. For example, a customer service AI. Typical might use a language model to converse, a recommender system, machine learning to suggest actions, sentiment analysis, a lot of things you have to implement in order to adapt tone and escalation paths. Okay, so in short, while generative AI is powerful, it is not a silver bullet. Its full potential and is unlocked with is strategically integrated with complementary AI components, okay, to solve complex and real-world problems in a robust and reliable manner.
Absolutely. And allow me a comment. Imagine how you can mix it, generative AI with machine learning, knowing that you can leverage unstructured data with generative AI and use it in your old traditional models in order to empower it, to reduce the cost, and be able to access more different type of data available. There's Federico from the audience that is asking, is there any role in the team that gives the advantage of keeping up date with technology and knowledge, given the pace of AI advancement nowadays? Maybe Laura, it's more related to what you were mentioning before, no? And what also JJ has told previously, about the way to continuous learning, no? What's your idea?
We do not have a dedicated role, like as an official role at Globant, but we have like when we build up a team for a big project, normally we have like one person, and that role is shifting over time, and sometimes you'd only do it like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, where we say like this person is giving like some innovative talk, or we have like a lecturers club where we share whatever we read in the news, or something we knew from Hugging Face, or like communities around AI.
So personally, I found very, very useful the tech community and trends community, all the reports provided by the company, but also the possibility to communicate with any other Globers in the company through Slack, to our channels, and also all the lessons I found for specific and innovative technology that comes on the Globant University, which is our academic platform with video, test, information, and so on. Fantastic. We are coming out of time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Damaso. Thank you, Paulina. I'll hand it over to Hilan. That's going to show something very interesting. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Okay. Hi, everyone. How are you? So I'm very glad to have you all here today. Hope you have enjoyed the amazing panel we have just had. The idea of this final part of the session is for me to tell you a little bit about our relationship with Google and some of the products we are building together with them and for our vast amount of clients. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Ilan. I'm based in Argentina. I've been at Globant for 9 years now, and for the last 5 years, I've been working with Google, mainly GCP. I'm currently a technical manager, kind of overseeing most of the data and AI initiatives we have at Globant with GCP, which include cloud foundations, databases and data warehouses migrations. And lately, as the panel was saying, a lot of generative AI projects, which include summarization, chatbots, search recommendations. I'm also a data professor and an MBA candidate. And the idea of today is to cover some very interesting topics. Let's begin understanding how important Globant relationship with Google is. So it's been a long journey together since 2006, when Globant became the first outsourcing partner for Google. And since then, as you can see, we were part of different and pretty important milestones, like collaborating in the testing of BigQuery, migrating YouTube to Google Tech, providing Google TV support. And in the timeline, you can see how our relationship with Google has grown and strengthened over the years. Today, we have a whole area dedicated to Google internal engineering. We not only do GCP, but also some internal projects, working with Googlers, with internal tools and methodologies. And also since 2013, we are official Google Cloud Platform partners. So we provide cloud plans, deploys, migrations for our clients. So we could acquire several specializations like data analytics and infrastructure. So we have been working together for more than 19 years now, as a supplier, as a client, as a partner. And we were the first supplier that Google trusted to access its code, and also the largest provider of talent for its delivery center in Latin America. And then an important milestone that we achieved about 2 years ago was the creation of a dedicated Google Cloud Studio at Globant, in order to leverage our 360-degree partnership with Google Cloud, so we can work closely with all Globant areas where Google Cloud opportunities arise, and to apply best practices and reuse some scalable solutions. So this allows us to support all our clients in adopting and maximizing the benefits that we can obtain from Google Cloud. So as I was mentioning, we execute whole project life cycles together with Google, from pre-sales and trainings, implementation of GCP foundations, and then evolving into project execution and sometimes operation support. Of course, we need to be up to date with GCP latest services. And as you can see, we currently have more than 1,100 Global certified in GCP, not only in data and AI, but also in some other areas like development, UX, testing, etc. So some other thing to mention is that we have been awarded as Partners of the Year several times. We won, for example, the Media and Entertainment Award 2 years in a row, and this was based on our amazing experience with some very important clients from all over the world. And this year we were recognized as Partners of the Year again, in this case in talent development for LATAM, and also as a country for Argentina. And finally, some weeks ago, we signed a joint working agreement with Google to continue expanding this partnership globally, where we commit to continue growing at least 50% next year and then 100% each of the following 2 years. Okay. So the idea of today is to show you some of our let's say products and platforms that we are working together with Google, and these are solutions that we offer to our clients, which are 100% GCP native. So first of all, I was mentioning that we were awarded as Media Entertainment Partner of the Year for 2 years in a row. And when dealing with this amount of clients and very important clients, we found out that there was a typical concern, which was becoming pretty common, which was our customers wanted to be able to find media content by very specific, let's say, natural language descriptions, or also by images. So let's say you want to consume your favorite TV series and you want to find the precise moment where a specific line is being said, or when something is happening, or where a brand is shown, or so on and so forth. So we found out that traditional systems and also current streaming platforms usually do not allow to make those kind of searches. You can search by usual tags like celebrities' names or the name of the TV show, or maybe the high-level description, but you cannot find the specific moment where some line is being said, or maybe where some character with the name of the character is making some kind of gesture or whatever, okay? So with that in mind, and understanding that this was a typical concern in the media industry, we developed this solution, which we call Globant's Advanced Video Search, or AVS. And the idea is that we can enable this kind of searches. We call this multimodal searches because you can search by content by using either natural language text or using also images. And this will lead you to the precise moment of the videos. Of course, these are your videos where that specific thing is happening or is being shown. These searches, again, can be by frame, can be by audio, can be by scene. And of course, we generate a lot of metadata regarding these videos, which is not available out of the box, also helping the companies to speed up this usually manual process into a generative AI-driven process, okay? So let's watch a short video where you can understand more about this solution.
In today's fast-paced media world, finding a specific moment in a universe of content is as arduous as spotting a needle in a haystack. But what if you could do it in just seconds? Globant's Advanced Video Search is an AI-powered digital tool revolutionizing how media companies manage and search through their vast content libraries, developed with 100% native GCP services. It allows producers, editors, researchers, and end users to find specific moments in their library using text or image-based search. You can search for specific audio lines like, "Did you say AI?" "Iconic." Or describe the action like, "Making a perfect shot." "Got it." You can even search for an exact frame, like this rugby one. There you go. And you can get way more specific. Now, how does it work? It's simple. Once your video is in Google Cloud, we use the power of AI to break it down into millisecond fragments and generate a detailed representation of its image, text, and audio components. Those representations are called embeddings, lower-dimensional numeric descriptions that can be stored in a vectorial database to enable an advanced video search engine. When you input a search, which can be either a text or an image, the system uses these indexes to find the closest matching descriptions from Google Cloud, bringing you precise results in seconds. Streaming platforms can provide audiences with instant clips of their favorite characters. News media can retrieve historical footage on demand. Content creators can curate and personalize their offerings like never before. And researchers can dive into archives with unparalleled ease, saving valuable time and resources. Revolutionize your media workflow with the power of Google Cloud. Let's make it happen.
Amazing. Okay, so this is kind of a high-level architecture of what we are using to build this solution. As I mentioned, this is GCP native, so all the services that we use are Google Cloud services. Of course, the first thing we need is our customers to ingest the videos into Google Cloud. Of course, we can help them to do so and to move those assets into GCP. And once we have those videos, the idea is to start processing them in order to get and extract this advanced AI metadata. For that, we use a combination of services such as Video Intelligence API. We use Gemini, which of course is all the time launching new versions. Right now, we have the 2.5 version, which is working pretty good. We also, if needed, can transcode the videos to shorten them, to change the quality, to cut some pieces. And then we also generate transcriptions. We use Google Speech to Text for that end. After this processing, we also use a very popular AI technique, which is used nowadays, which is called embeddings. The idea of embeddings, if you don't know it, is to kind of represent these assets in a very specific way, which is not human readable. Those are just about 1,400 numbers describing, for example, an image or just a text. But the idea behind that is that they enable this similarity search, okay? So it's kind of a black box algorithm that Google offers, but once you represent things using embeddings, from then on and using a pictorial database, in this case, we use Google's one, which is called vector search, you can make this kind of similarity searches, okay? So you will be able to find things by either using text or images, or also what's being said in the video by the audio, okay? And then we just expose very optimized backend and UI and a very pretty front end so that you can search that content, okay? And as I mentioned, this is multimodal. Again, you can make any type of searches using text. Those searches can be either syntactic or semantic, okay? And then you can also use images. So as was mentioned in the video, this has a lot of use cases that our customers are leveraging. First of all, you can use this for video edition, okay? Let's say you want to process the video very quickly and you need to show, let's say, highlights of your video. After 5 minutes or 10 minutes, the original show has finished. Then you can, of course, use this tool to optimize the time and cost for making this processing. We are also working in the highlights feature. You can also start monetizing the video. Let's say the target is non-linear channels, or maybe you want to create new content, and for that you want to understand what you have, and maybe you have not a few, but hundreds or thousands of videos, then you can also start using this for monetization. Let's say you want to detect some content, and this is pretty much related with advertisement. Let's say you want to place an insurance advertisement, then you will choose, of course, a moment of the video where something not terrible is happening. Or maybe you want to place a food or a beer commercial, then you might want to find those moments where the audience is celebrating or is showing some joy. So of course, that's also a very good use case of the tool. And then, and last but not least, we have the user engagement. Me as a user would love to have this kind of search in my favorite streaming platforms. Because again, if I want to add my favorite let's say, sitcom moment where someone is saying something, or if I want to add the specific chapter where something is occurring, then I can also leverage this search. So the core of this platform is what we call the ABS core platform. This is very decoupled. So as I showed you, we use a lot of GCP services. But if you want to switch one of them for another GCP service, or let's say you already have that component sold because you already did that using your own technology, then we can also switch that and replace it. The good thing is that all the things that we need to do just once, we just do them once, such as processing the video initially. And then if you want to update some component, we can work on that with you. But of course, and this has been also been mentioned by the panel, Gen AI is in constant movement, so we need to be able to replace all of these components pretty quickly when something new is launched. So the second thing I'm going to show you is our AI retail solution. As I mentioned, we not only focus on one industry, but we focus on mainly everything that we think and we know that we can add some value. We have our own retail studio within Globant. So in this case, we also worked on a very, very useful AI solution focused on retail. So what we need to do here, and I'm going to also show a video about this solution, is to ingest our customer catalog. In this case, you can see clothes, but this is not only for clothes. You can also have other kind of products such as technology, such as hotels, flights, whatever. And then we also ingest users' history, which is both the historical history and then what's happening all the time, what we call behavioral data with users interacting with the platform. We then process that, and the idea here, similar to ABS, is to enable an advanced search where you can find the products that you need using either syntactic or semantic searches. But then we also enable recommendations, which is something that we really appreciate as customers, as consumers of e-commerce platforms. And these recommendations are usually live and dynamic. So depending on what I'm seeing, I can get some recommendations such as frequently bought together or similar items or users like you usually bought. And then in every step of the process, when I, for example, add items to my cart, I can see some recommendations so I can keep increasing the items I add to my cart, okay? Again, this is GCP native, so we use all the GCP stack. And the idea is to have a very, very fast time to market for our clients and also a fast-paced development. So let me go now to the video.
Welcome to the future of retail. Introducing Globant AI Retail Search and Recommendations, a revolutionary solution designed to transform the shopping experience. Imagine your customers being greeted with personalized recommendations at every turn. With our advanced algorithms powered by GCP Vertex AI Search for Retail and Gemini, we offer suggestions like others you may like, frequently bought together. Say goodbye to tedious searches. Our advanced multimodal search lets customers explore your catalog using natural language or images. They can search for items like bright colors, clothing from Peru, clothes to play football based on blue. Have a specific look in mind? With our smart outfit ideas, customers can upload an image and receive curated outfit combinations tailored just for them. And what if they could see their outfits on a real person? Our solution allows customers to visualize their looks, making shopping interactive and fun. Moving to a new place? With our virtual room designer, users get personalized recommendations for furniture and decor that perfectly match their style and existing pieces. But we don't stop there. With Globant's touchless retail, we enhance the in-store experience too. Our facial recognition technology identifies customers as they enter, allowing them to shop effortlessly. They can take their bags and leave while our system handles invoicing and inventory processing in the background. With Globant AI Retail Search and Recommendations, we're not just enhancing the shopping experience, we're redefining it. Ready to take your customer experience to the next level? Contact us today.
Amazing, huh? So there are two great examples
Welcome to
of how we can use Gen AI for different purposes. Of course, it's not simple, and as you can see here again, we need to combine a lot of services and then iterate the solution. And of course, each of the customers will have its own challenges and things to solve. So again, the first thing to work with this solution is to ingest customers' data into GCP, because we need that native integration with all the APIs that we are going to use. Of course, this can be done both in a batch way. Let's say you just update your catalog once a week, once a month, once every 3 months. So that should be enough. But then if desired, and if you want to get like perfect recommendations for your customers, mainly, then we can ingest all the behavioral user data, such as scrolling up, down, putting like, buying this, seeing this in real time. And those will improve the recommendations. Then what we do is we kind of map all your data into the schemas that GCP needs to kind of create and train these out-of-the-box models. Then we load that information into Google's data warehouse, which is BigQuery. And then we use a combination of products and services for these use cases I was mentioning. First of all, if you're familiar with Vertex AI, which is mainly Google's suite of AI services, there's a specific Vertex AI branch for retail and for commerce. So we use that to generate these product recommendations, which again can be one of a lot of models, such as frequently bought together, users like you may like, similar items, etc. We also use embeddings again to generate this and to enable this semantic and syntactic search, which usually works pretty good, and it's pretty fast to be developed, and it can also be tuned for your specific use cases versus some black box services from GCP. And then we also use Vision API. This is GCP main service to work with images. So the idea here is that based on each of the product's images, we can then enable a similarity search. Let's say you are in a store and you find a t-shirt that you like and you want to understand if that t-shirt might be cheaper in the internet, or maybe there's a similar one that you like more than the other one. Then you can just upload that image in the store. You can just take a picture from yourself wearing that image, that t-shirt, sorry, or showing that t-shirt, and the system will be able to find the most similar items to that one. And then, of course, we have Gemini in the background. We have some advanced features which are pretty awesome. The first one, we call that smart outfit. So let's say you have a target event and you don't know what to wear, such as, I don't know, I have a meeting in New York, okay? And you can also provide some optional parameters, such as my genre, my sizes, my age. And with that, the system will recommend a complete outfit just for you, tailored for you, with the products that the catalog has, and then you can buy the whole outfit there. Okay, so that's pretty awesome. And last but not least, you can also interact. There's a multi-channel feature. You can interact with the system by using the traditional web page, or you can also use a chatbot, and you can use this using like a custom UI or maybe WhatsApp. So this will let you, for example, say, I want a t-shirt for a soccer match. You will receive some recommendations and then interact saying, okay, that's not what I was looking for. I want something, I don't know, from Argentina. And this will let you interact in a very easy and user-friendly way. So again, we have a lot of use cases, some of them internal. So let's say you want to reduce the manual intervention and be able to tag all your products automatically and enable this advanced search. Then you can use this, and very fast you'll enjoy those features. You will be able to reduce the operational cost. And again, you will leverage a whole platform of AI features and integration with your current systems. And of course, conversion rate will also be improved. Me as a customer, again, will really enjoy and love if my favorite e-commerce store has this kind of features. You will also increase retention, and last but not least, boost what is user engagement. Again, this platform uses a combination of GCP services, but again, this is decoupled. So in case you want to replace one of the components, in case you want to switch one of the ML models and use either your own or use a different model for a specific step of the flow, then you can also do that. I think that's it. I have some questions. So about average time of processing the videos for the first solution. Of course, this usually depends on the quality of the videos and then the length of the videos. The solution is mainly like a batch solution, so the processing occurs behind the scenes. It takes just a few minutes, about 2 minutes, if the video is 1 hour long. So it's very fast for short videos. And once we enable that, then searches are very fast. So it should take between 1 and 2 seconds to find the precise moment of your vast video catalog to get the results. We use a lot of techniques to filter all the noise and to make just the proper queries that we need to do. So the search is very fast. About using augmented reality, we are in the process of creating that solution mainly for our retail solution. So the video shows the main idea, which is kind of understanding how some clothes look on you. So that's in progress. That's not out of the box yet, but we are working in that kind of solution mainly for the retail one. Okay. So I hope you have enjoyed it. This is the end of the whole session. Thank you all very much for joining. I hope to see you again next time. Please, you all remember our mentoring challenge and session. Remember that the 2 winners will be announced tomorrow, so please stay tuned. And again, good luck, everybody, and thanks for your time. Bye-bye.